You're watching the show that puts Mid-Michigan news in focus. This is Focal Point.
Coming up on Focal Point, Michigan State University takes a step towards joining many college campuses across America in implementing a tobacco-free policy.
Tonight on Focal Point, we'll be telling you why we're going to be seeing a lack of primary care physicians in the upcoming years.
And students with disabilities are using new technology to help them succeed in their classes. Focal Point starts now.
Good evening, I'm Aria Rembert.
And I'm Tyler Clifford. Welcome to Focal Point. Michigan State University is making moves towards a healthier campus. The previously proposed tobacco-free campus initiative is taking a step forward. Focal Point's Miguel Martinez Valle has more on what the university is doing next.
It may soon be time for Michigan State University smokers to put out their cigarettes, at least while on school property.
And I would just really love to be able to walk around campus and not have anyone smoking or anyone chewing tobacco or anything like that.
MSU is forming a task force to help transition the university to a tobacco-free campus.
The task force's purpose and mission is to decide what is the best way to implement a tobacco-free policy.
Current Michigan State University rules prohibit smoking within 25 feet of the building entrance or exit. That would be about this far. Michigan laws prohibit smoking inside of public buildings, and you can't sell tobacco products on campus either. Still, university officials are looking to do more in order to assure a healthier campus.
And there is data to show that that smoke-free policies in the workplace do make a difference.
The university physician's office heads the task force. It's made up of nearly 35 different people from all areas of the university, including students. Still, not everyone seems to be on board.
I just pretty much stand by that people have the right to do what they want as long as they're not harming others.
While the official language for the policy is still being drafted, the goal is to ban all tobacco-related products, not just cigarettes, and there has even been talk of banning e-cigarettes. If Michigan State University were to go tobacco-free, it would join 1,400 college campuses across America, and many here in Michigan that are already tobacco-free. For Focal Point, I'm Miguel Martinez Valle.
The tobacco-free policy will not be in effect for at least another year, but the task force is hoping to present a draft of the policy to the board by next summer and further educate everyone on campus as to what this policy means. A shortage in primary care physicians in the upcoming years is going to create a real issue, especially in rural areas of this state and the country. MSU medical students are opting for specialty care due to a lack of incentives to go into primary care. Focal Point's Marley Delaney gives us the real reasons behind the potential drain on this system.
Milani Brim is president and CEO of the Michigan Health Council and says that medical students are straying away from primary care because it's not as cost beneficial as specialty care.
They will relieve some of your medical school debt if you practice for so long in an underserved community.
The lack of primary care physicians not only affects the patient seeking the care, but the physicians themselves have more work on their shoulders.
There are a lot of patients who have to be seen, and so I think that there are a lot of stressors that make it not as easy to practice in primary care as maybe it was in the past.
Brim, along with Dr. Donald Sefchuk from the MSU College of Osteopathic Medicine, is in favor of team-based care that will help alleviate the shortage and help patients receive the service they deserve.
And that will minimize the fragmentation of how patients are taken care of and actually increase the outcomes for patients over the long haul.
Administrative Director of Medical Education at McLaren Greater Lansing, Sherry Clark, is cautious when it comes to using nurses and physician assistants.
Is that physician extenders actually need to be supervised by a physician.
While many are worried that this doctor shortage may cause major problems, Dr. Sefchuk is optimistic looking into the future.
But we're looking at other sources of revenue and funding. We're looking at moving training programs out of big academic centers into more rural locations.
Sefchuk hopes that moving residencies into rural locations will help these primary care physicians stay in those areas after training, ultimately cutting back on the shortage. For Focal Point, I'm Marley Delaney.
Because of declining birth rates, there are actually less people coming into the workforce, which adds to the shortage of primary care physicians.
The countdown to Easter has begun as Ash Wednesday marks the beginning of the Lent season. St. John Church and Student Center in East Lansing held 6 masses to mark the observance. Ash Wednesday is the start of a 40-day religious period many Christians celebrate leading up to Easter Sunday. Father Tucker Cordani, who led the Mass, borrowed a phrase made famous by journalist Hunter S. Thompson and encouraged students to buy the ticket and take the ride of Lent.
What that really means is to commit to the Lenten journey. So once we buy the ticket, that is the ashes, I guess you could use those as a metaphorical ticket, then we want to take that ride all the way to the end of the spiritual journey, which happens at Easter.
Some of the commonly observed Lenten traditions include fasting, no meat on Fridays, or giving something up. For those who struggle with observances, Father Cordani suggests taking the journey to Easter one day at a time. And taking it one day at a time just may be how some of these Michigan State University students got through their Lent season. We asked local Catholics what they thought the hardest thing was to give up in Lent in today's Sidewalk Survey.
I am a pretty serious fangirl, and so for 1 year for Lent, I gave up like all fandom-related things. So like no watching Supernatural, no no fan fiction or anything like that. That was really, really, really hard.
It's the hardest thing I ever gave up for Lent would be alcohol. One being because I really like beer and wine, and the other was I bartend, so a lot of times after getting out of shift, I like to pour myself a drink.
Well, this year I've decided to give up using the elevators in the residence halls, and I just realized so much this morning that I take the elevator for granted a lot.
I was living in a house in Evergreen, and I had a bunch of roommates, and we all decided to give up swearing together. So we looked up on the internet like a list of all swear words. We assigned monetary values to them with, I believe, the Lord's name in vain being like 50 cents and the F-bomb being 25 and everything else being a dime. And we actually ended poverty that year.
And with Ash Wednesday comes Fat Tuesday, which means another year of delicious fruit-filled punchki. Customers lined up as early as 7 a.m. to get their hands on some of the famous Roma Bakery punchki. Roma Bakery has been participating in Punchi Day for as many years, but started adding an Italian twist about 7 years ago. Their ricotta filling, which is similar to cannoli filling, has become a customer favorite. Last year, Roma Bakery sold 8,000 dozen punchki, so it may be hard to believe the owners were hesitant to start making them in the first place.
We said more Italian area, you know, we don't should have. My husband didn't know how to do punchkis, but he knew donuts. So the guy says, he should do it. What's the difference? If it's Italian, they love it, and that's what we did.
And Lansing has more construction on the way early next year on property that has been vacant for 8 years. The city council sold 30 acres of the closed Red Cedar Golf Course to Ferguson Continental Lansing LLC for a new housing, retail, and restaurant center. Dubbed the Red Cedar Renaissance, the $276 million plan includes 5 restaurants, a 10-story hotel, and apartments for students, professionals, and seniors on the city's east side. Developers hope to finish construction in 2017.
Organic food retailer Whole Foods is behind schedule on its new Meridian Township location. The delay comes as Whole Foods wanted to add about 6,000 square feet to the west side of the store. The finish date for the much anticipated store on Grand River Avenue is still unknown. This will be the Texas-based grocery chain's 7th location in Michigan.
Students, faculty, and even family members are worried about safety on MSU's campus. We're looking at how an upgrade to the alert system will enhance communication.
Plus, new technology is enabling the disabled. We're talking to students who have found the new independence in the classroom.
When do we give up? When do we just close our eyes and say, that's it? This water's too polluted. This disease too far along. To a Spartan, the answer is simple. Never. Because Michigan State was founded on the belief that our purpose is to make the world a better place. And when you're open to unconventional thinking, value people's differences, and are willing to forge true partnerships, then and only then can you solve the world's toughest problems. Like renewable energy, clean water, and Parkinson's disease. Because we know our true triumph lies in the impact we make on the world around us. And after all, if we don't do it, who will. Spartans will.
The bitter cold temperatures of this year's winter may seem extreme, but it turns out that last year's winter was actually even worse. The pattern of the jet stream, which is described as a river of faster moving wind and air, is said to be the direct cause of this year's harsh winter. And while the pattern of the jet stream typically changes on a constant basis, it sometimes gets stuck in a particular pattern like the one we've been experiencing. State climatologist Dr. Jeff Andreessen says that what we're experiencing is due to the transport of air masses from polar Arctic origins that are moving southward through Canada into the upper Midwest and Northeast.
Even though we've had very, very severe conditions here, cold and winter type conditions in Michigan, other parts of North America have been unusually warm.
Dr. Andreessen also said that although 2 years of back-to-back cold winters doesn't make a trend, they certainly act as a contrast to the long-term trend of a warmer planet.
They text you, they call you, but is it efficient? MSU Police is working to keep students, staff, and family alert and involved when danger happens.
Plus, the next Steven Spielberg might just be in our midst. From basketball to the big screen, we'll take you on the red carpet. Marley Delaney is here with those stories and more. Marley?
MSU Police have implemented a new system to help keep students and local residents safe. The alert portal allows you to update contact information and choose ways to receive alerts during an emergency. MSU Police encourages everyone to check if correct phone numbers and email addresses are in there in case of an emergency on or near campus.
It becomes an automatic capture for us, and then when we do send out an alert message, we can use those devices that are best and ones you've identified to be reached at.
Also in the works is a new outdoor speaker system with an audible message that will give detailed instructions if severe weather strikes. That project is expected to be completed in April. For more information, visit alert.msu.edu. From apps that amplify sound for the hearing impaired to apps that identify objects for the visually impaired, new technology is helping students with disabilities be even more independent here at MSU. Focal Point's Amanda Chodnicki shows us some new cool tools.
So now I'm on a different page of apps.
Computer science senior Jordan Castor deals with a physical disability.
I think that asking for help shows a stronger individual than stepping back and not asking for help when you know you need it.
While being blind can make schoolwork difficult for her to complete. New apps and technology have made it a little easier.
Braille display is basically like, it's a tool that can connect with Bluetooth to the iPhone and it displays Braille.
With her Braille display, Castor doesn't just have to listen to an automated voice read her textbooks. She can have the words converted to Braille and read it with the touch of her own finger.
When I'm reading something in Braille, I'm able to comprehend it better, I'm able to understand.
To help her understand even more, MSU's Resource Center for Persons with Disabilities have converted several of her textbooks by hand.
They enter it into a computer. They braille these graphics as well.
Little tiny thing that maybe seems so easy to you is not so easy to them. And
RCPD employees like Liza Reynolds are also there to show students what apps are available and can help with their specific needs.
Normally I don't see that student again because they don't need help anymore and like they're able to accomplish what they were having troubles with all on their own.
Technology makes tasks like writing papers easier for students. There's actually apps on iPads that type out what they want to say.
Yeah, there are a lot of students who don't know we're here.
RCPD information technologist Al Pazzulli says many still don't know about the resources they provide.
The general students knew they could point it out to people who needed it.
You know, ask for help now while you can get the accommodations, you can get the help. There's so much out there. It just takes asking.
For Focal Point, I'm Amanda Chodnicki.
If you think you may need extra assistance, you can visit the RCPD in room 120 in Bessie Hall. They can help you to identify apps and technology that will specifically help you. MSU's College of Engineering received a $1.3 million donation to support entrepreneurship and diversity in the college. This grant from the Bob Newber and Betty Shanahan Endowed Professorship has helped the college in its $80 million campaign to solve global issues with engineering solutions. This is a part of the university's campaign called Empower Extraordinary, a $1 billion initiative started last October. Multiple University of Michigan fraternities are taking the blame for vandalizing more than one ski resort in the state of Michigan after weekend ski trips caused severe damage and have resulted in those fraternities being banned. Here at MSU, fraternities and sororities take similar trips, and the Greek Panhellenic Council is working hard to educate its members to avoid what happened at U of M. The term ski weekend is used loosely among the Greek community, both at the University of Michigan and at Michigan State University.
There's not much skiing involved from what I've heard. It's more just partying, but it sounds like a fun time.
But when the words ski weekend are used, what do they really mean?
I usually go up to a resort up North Michigan or rent out a cabin or something.
Philanthropy Chair of Delta Sigma Phi fraternity, Brett Cast, has never participated in a ski weekend, but he can imagine why they're so common.
I go with another sorority or a couple other fraternities or whatever you want to do and basically just have a blast for a weekend.
A ski weekend may sound like fun, but there are consequences for those who don't behave.
Just kind of had a reckless attitude thinking that it was never going to come back to them, and in fact it did.
Michigan State University has never had any problems with ski weekends because the Greek communities are educated about risk management by the East Lansing Police Department to help alleviate any problems that may occur.
Our best to educate everybody and prevent them from having that happen to our campus like it did to University of Michigan.
And Lieutenant Steve Gonzalez says the East Lansing Police Department has a very good working relationship with the Michigan State University Greek community.
We've never seen something like that related to one individual party or one individual organization, especially when it comes to the Greek community.
Lieutenant Gonzalez says it's important to educate Greek organizations about risk management to prevent things like vandalism from occurring. Nobody has been arrested for the incidents, but police say there were 350 students staying at the ski resorts at the time of the misconduct. U of M officials have now announced that Sigma Alpha Mu fraternity will no longer be recognized by the university, and Sigma Delta Tau sorority has been placed on disciplinary suspension after a lengthy investigation. The university has also asked the national office to revoke the fraternity's charter and impose additional sanctions. MSU men's basketball players are doing more than just hitting the court. On Monday night, shooting guard Keenan Wetzel showed the world what it truly means to be a student athlete. NCG Cinema rolled out the red carpet for a private premiere of The Cager, a short film written and directed by MSU basketball player Keenan Wetzel. The 25-minute movie is about a former basketball star without a backup plan. Wetzel received support from coach Tom Izzo and teammates like Denzel Valentine and Brandon Dawson. Even the little ones helped out.
Keenan has worked extremely hard, and trying to be an athlete, going through some injuries, working on your masters, and doing this with the film, that's a full day's work. And I hope some of the work ethic he learned as an athlete is helping him in this field. So I'm really proud of him. I'm really excited for him.
Keenan hopes to finish his master's program in May and continue to produce film. Michigan State's College of Communication Arts and Sciences held an interactive career fair this past Friday with recruiters from all around the U.S. The CAS Connect Career Fair was bigger than ever, with more than 60 companies ready to recruit. MSU students flooded the ComArts building, eager to see what doors just may open. Dressed to impress and equipped with resumes, students with different concentrations in the college hope to meet their future bosses. Organizer Karen Hansen says she was excited to see support from all the alumni.
Those alumni are here because somebody helped them when they were students. And they know how important it is to give back and feed into the lives of the students that are currently here, to show them what there is available to them outside of the walls of this building.
Hansen also said this year's goal was to represent as many of the inner-set areas in the College of Communications, Arts, and Sciences. Since 1969, the MSU Rodeo Club has been putting on the Spartan Stampede. It's a time to see bull riding, calf roping, and barrel racing. Focal Point's April Jones takes us right into the action of the 46th Stampede.
I mean, you got bulls, you got broncs, you got horses going fast.
It's the
2015 Spartan Stampede, and this year, crowds filled the arena, attending for many reasons. For Haley Vell,
to come out and watch the horses, and this is like something I've done before in the past, so it's just nice to enjoy.
For others like Tina Pong, it's about bringing home something new.
You know, it's just a good time out. My boots were wore out, so why not buy them when they're on sale?
But for Mitch Carter, he comes for the thrill.
It's a huge adrenaline rush. If you're an adrenaline junkie, bull riding is something for you. You get on and all of a sudden it hits you and it spikes. And you just get amped up and you're ready to go.
There's plenty of action at the rodeo in the arena, but there are plenty of things that go on behind the scenes as well. Over 50 animals, including calves, horses, and even bulls that weigh up to 2,000 pounds, are back here waiting for showtime.
Back here is kind of crazy because they're switching stock. And
Mindy Hill is the president of the MSU Rodeo Club. She says this year, the rodeo brought in more than 300 competitors from over 22 states, including Canada. And with 7 events in about 2 hours, there's little time to rest.
The audience doesn't see what goes on back here, but the audience, every time there's an event change or anything, there's a clown, the announcers, like there's always something going on. And everything's pretty quick paced.
And for club member William Seeger, that usually means cleaning up what's left behind in the stalls.
We're getting out like all the soiled sawdust and basically like the poop. So we're able to resell these for the contestants that are coming in.
But at the end of it all,
I'll probably spend at least 50 hours here, if not more, over the weekend. So everybody is usually so tired that we all want to sleep.
They're really tired by the time it's over, but it's memories that will absolutely, everybody says it'll last a lifetime. It really does.
making everything worth the time and effort. For Focal Points, I'm April Jones.
A portion of proceeds from the Spartan Stampede are used by the Rodeo Club to cover travel costs from MSU intercollegiate rodeo competitors, in addition to providing a number of student scholarships. That's what's happening on campus. I'm Marley Delaney.
MSU suffers a tough loss against Minnesota last night in overtime, with March Madness only a week away.
And MSU athletic facilities are in for a major overhaul after a multi-million-dollar donation. That and more coming up next.
Ever wonder where courage comes from? Where one finds the strength to believe in solutions that seem impossible? It takes a Spartan's will to understand that by working together we can solve the world's biggest problems, from renewable energy to fighting malaria. After all, if we don't do it, who will? Spartans will.
MSU celebrated 10 years of the Big Ten with a doubleheader on Thursday versus the Golden Gophers in basketball and in hockey. To the Breslin Center we go, where they celebrated the 10th anniversary of the Big Ten Network, and the Cotton Bowl presented Mark D'Antonio the championship trophy. However, it wasn't such a celebration to the basketball team. Against the Golden Gophers, the Spartans led Minnesota 78-75 with 12 seconds left in the second half. But a three-pointer by Carlos Morris sent the game into overtime. Minnesota held on to an early lead in OT, defeating the Spartans 96-90. Even though his team didn't play well, Coach Izzo said the Golden Gophers just played better.
Got to tell you, it's a sickening loss. But I don't want to take anything away from Minnesota because they played hard and they played well and they deserved the win.
MSU basketball will be seeing some upgrades thanks to a generous donation. Mark and Cindy Pentecost have donated $3 million that will be used to update basketball offices, practice facilities, and establish an endowment to make sure facilities are continuously improved. The donation was made in support of the MSU campaign called Empower Extraordinary, a campaign put in place to raise money to provide the necessary resources for students and faculty. The donation is one of the largest to MSU athletics and is the third one of $3 million or more since the campaign launched in October 2014. And it was an emotional senior day for the MSU women's basketball team last Sunday, who upset number 19 ranked Rutgers 60-50 at home. Sophomore forward Ariel Powers scored 18 points during the game, pushing her single season total to 600, breaking an MSU record. Scarlet Knights sophomore guard Tyler Scaife, who averages a 41% field goal percentage, was held to 2 points by the Spartans. Rutgers now drops to a three-way tie with Ohio State and Minnesota for the third in the Big Ten. The Spartans grabbed another road win against Illinois on Wednesday. They sit 14-14 overall with 6 Big Ten wins. And former MSU football stars continued to shine at this year's NFL Combine. Cornerback Trey Waynes clocked the fastest 40 time among defensive backs with a 4.31. With this impressive time, there is talk that Waynes could be the #1 corner in this year's draft. Also ranking #1 is the 40 was running back Jeremy Langford, who recorded a 4.43. Wide receivers Tony Lippett and Keith Mumphrey also performed well. Lippett said even though it's been a lot of work, the experience has been a good one.
It's a blessing. Like I said, it's a blessing. It's fun getting back into it with some of the great players around where I'm training at. And it's just been grinding, working on all the stuff we're doing here, working on the media and things like that. And we're just trying to, sell ourselves to get better.
Earlier this week, the Big Ten Conference announced plans to explore making freshmen ineligible for varsity sports. Dubbed a year in readiness, the purpose is to keep college athletes focused on education. Tom Izzo admits there are some struggles because of sports, but doesn't agree with it being strictly for the Big Ten Conference.
So I don't know what's right and wrong on that. It is a soapbox for me. But if we truly did what we all say we're going to do, and that's the betterment of the student athlete, there'd probably be some things that we wouldn't do now, like play 9:30 at night games and stuff. Okay, that definitely. But in the big picture of things, I just wish we had everybody so data crazy. I'm more of an eyeball guy. Eyeball. If I see how kids are acting, that's the eyeball test. I don't need the data. But if we're so data crazy, I can't wait till the data comes out on how many of these kids coming out don't make it.
The Detroit Lions were looking at more than just draft prospects at this year's Combine. The front office met with the team's free agents, including defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh. It's believed that Suh is looking to sign a contract that would make him the highest paid defensive player in the NFL. And the ultimate question is, are the Lions willing to do that? The answer to that question is still up in the air. Management has been trying to work out a deal with Suh for over a year now, and the start of free agency is just 15 days away. The Lions have until March 2nd to make a decision on whether or not they want to use their franchise tag. That's what's happening in sports. I'm Miguel Martinez-Valle. Back to you at the desk.
Chinese New Year transformed Meridian Mall last Saturday, drawing in a crowd of hundreds, many of whom are thousands of miles away from home. The third annual celebration featured cultural performances such as singing, hip-hop dancing, and Tai Chi, a Chinese form of meditation.
The event brought people from all over to ring in the Lunar New Year. Julie Jane, the event chair of Greater Lansing Chinese Association, says that the event helped Chinese students and residents get a taste of culture in mid-Michigan.
Right now we have a lot of Chinese students here, and also we have a lot of Chinese residents. Yeah, so especially for Chinese students, they may not go back home to China for the big holiday. So we want to really create them. This is like an event. This seems like China, so everyone will not feel like homesick. Yeah, so we'll feel warm. Yeah, so they're happy here.
Yeah, I really like Chinese food. How about you?
I like the fortune cookies,
Read a little message in there.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show for tonight, folks. We leave you now with a song from Alan Good, performed at Open Mic Night at the Union.
Good night.
Lost you before I had you. And so I hope you're happy with that new guy. And I hope you're happy leaving me behind. Fishing